After a very long off-season, with many large acquisitions followed by departures from some players, the Toronto Raptors have created a roster that is full of young talent with extremely bright futures. The question many people are now asking is this team that was created by the Raptors front office good enough to make it to the playoffs this year? And I'm here to tell you that the answer to that question is yes, they are. The Toronto Raptors will make the NBA playoffs this year. I don't think it's going to be a top seed. However, they can most certainly lock down a bottom seed in the playoffs, and I'm thinking anywhere from the 6th to the 8th seed if I have to be realistic. But there definitely is a chance they shock even myself and pick up a middle seed in the playoffs. And in this video, I will be explaining exactly how they will be good enough to make the playoffs. But before I do that, I just wanted to say that if you do like this video, please drop a like and even subscribe if you like NBA and Raptors content. Every video from now on, I will be shouting out a random subscriber, so make sure you subscribe so you can be shouted out in the next video. Shout out to Adam Edwards, you were the first to win without even knowing I was doing this, so thank you for the support as always. Now, on to why the Toronto Raptors will make the playoffs this season. I feel like I have to mention this right off the bat because some of you are probably wondering how a team is going to make the playoffs in just one season after acquiring the 4th overall pick from the year before. And it's honestly because I think that last year was sort of a write-off year in a good way, where the team was clearly in a tanking mode as they had a relatively young team, made some big roster moves at the deadline, but also had to deal with injuries all throughout the year, not allowing the team to truly gel as a unit and string multiple wins together. Not to mention the fact that they ended up getting very lucky in the lottery to move up multiple spots to get the 4th overall pick, which landed them Scottie Barnes. The Toronto Raptors finished just 7 wins away from the 8th overall seed and just 6 wins from the 10th if you're looking at a possible play-in berth as well, as they did confirm they will be having that tournament again this year, and the Raptors finished 12th in the Eastern Conference last season. And to be quite honest, I think this team did improve their roster enough to the point where I think a playoff berth is more than what is expected of this team. Not only did they make some big additions with Scottie Barnes, but you also have to take into account that our entire starting lineup is insanely young still, and the opportunity of growth that they can put up over last season could be something no one is even paying attention to. OG is set to have another career year for the Raptors. Fred is looking to take leadership of the team after Kyle Lowry's departure. Pascal is looking to bounce back this year and get back to that all-star level form after going through surgery in the offseason. Gary Trent could have a career year for us based on what he's been doing last year. Scottie Barnes could potentially win Rookie of the Year. Achiuwa could have a breakout year, and many other outcomes. There are so many things to look forward to this season and so many pieces that can break out right between our eyes. If you take a look at the teams in the Eastern Conference and who the Raptors are better than, I think you could say that they are clearly better than the Cavs, the Magic, the Pistons, and the Wizards just by looking at it at a first glance, which means that I don't see them falling below the 11th seed next year unless obviously something horrible happens. But on top of that, I think you could make the case that they're also better than the Hornets and the Pacers, and they're relatively close to the Bulls and the Celtics, which show you that they're definitely competing for a middle seed in the Eastern Conference, and I really hope this is something they would achieve, as this would make the season so exciting and mean that so many players on this team made massive jumps. With all of that being said, simply looking at the other teams they're up against, I don't see why the Raptors won't make the playoffs, or at least have an incredibly decent chance to compete for at least a play-in game with hopes of making it to the playoffs. This team is much better than the media gives us credit for, as this will always be the case for the Toronto Raptors, as many fans know this. I just don't want anybody to be surprised when this team comes out on the court giving it their 280% every single night while also being a top defensive team in the NBA. In no way am I saying this team is a contender in in the playoffs because I simply just don't believe that this team is ready for that step in this process. As much as I would love that for this team, it is not only not necessary at this point in the process, as this team is very young, there are also just very strong, well-built teams that they'll be going up against, making it very tough for us to go on a run. To me, that doesn't matter one bit being a fan of this team, and it shouldn't take any of the excitement away from this team for any of you. And hey, if it does end up happening, like I said, that would mean things would be moving much quicker than expected in the development of this roster. This team is so unique, so young, so special, and so promising that every single game this season, we could witness something crazy happen that nobody would expect. Simply just watching the rookies and the younger guys this season earn their roles on this team and fighting every single night to prove themselves is going to be so cool and so exciting to watch. But moving back to why we're going to make the playoffs this season, and honestly one of the biggest things the Raptors have going for them is their defensive potential. The amount of different lineups and weapons that Nick Nurse is going to be able to throw out there with the length that this team has is absurd, and I honestly think that this team can be a top 5 defensive team this year with this roster, with the potential to be one of the best down the road in a couple of years. This is definitely up there for one of the most anticipated NBA seasons for the Toronto Raptors in the past couple of years, for the reason that they have so many newer young guys that are either going to be getting bigger roles this season or are simply just new players that we have not yet seen before. All in all, this team is new and they are definitely bringing the excitement to each and every game this season, while also hopefully having the chance to battle against the league's best come playoff time. As this video comes to an end, comment down below if you think this team has what it takes to make the playoffs this year, and if so, what seed do you think they'll end up locking up? I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please feel free to leave a like and even subscribe if you enjoy this type of Raptors content, and also for the chance to get shouted out in the next video. Thank you all and have a nice night.